Gustavo, my friend. See, we finally got an opening for you. I ain't been missing my daily driver for the past like week or so, like 2 weeks actually. Been having to drive some of my other beaters around. This is my daily, this is my shop truck here. Blew a brake line out on me, which is amazing because this is literally my most rust-free vehicle. And it's the one that blows a brake line on me. Okay, whatever, I'll take it. But like seriously, other than the dents and faded paint and just, a few bumper, a few battle wounds, should we say, Got this in here, let's see, this one. This corner right here was like this when I got said truck. That was already there. This corner of the truck, that was already there when I got it. Pretty much everything else I did. Yeah. Except for that little door ding there, that wasn't me. Okay, so the door ding and that, and the split down here in the old plastic lower bumper. Pretty much everything on this side of the truck was already done when I got it. This here, deer. Yep. Dang old deer. Gotta love them. Luckily my cousin had a headlight just sitting around, so I just swung by his house like literally 15 minutes after I hit the deer. I pulled in at my cousin's house. So I just hit a deer. Stupid. And he's like, well, hey, I got a headlight, because we just put aftermarket headlights in his truck. He's like, I got a headlight for you. And he swapped it out, we put it in there, and been driving it like that ever since, Literally a 5-minute repair, 15 minutes after the wreck. Driving it like that ever since. It worked out beautifully. It is a little dirty right now. It does need a bath. Like, it's been parked for like 2 weeks. So it's just been sitting, collecting dirt, dust. A few choice. The cobwebs. But, this side over here is pretty good. Then you got this little number right here, and this kind of, brokety tail light right there. That was me. That is, between that and the deer, that is the only battle wounds I have put on this truck. I got a little bit right there that was involved in that. You got the deer battle wound in the front, and this right here was last winter when it was a little snowy, and I caught a guardrail. It happens sometimes when you're out just, living your best life. Caught a guardrail. Well, what are we gonna do about it? But anyway, we're gonna get it jacked up, and we're gonna replace that rear brake line. And it's the short one, it's the driver's side brake line, so it's the short one. So we're gonna get that off there, get it measured out on our length, go to town, get some brake line, get that replaced, quick, easy peasy. Won't even be a problem. And I am also gonna pull off the back tires, because I think my rear shoes might be shot. It's a very real possibility. So we're gonna pull off the rear tires, inspect the rear brakes, get that rear brake line pulled off so I can get a measurement on length. And we'll also, anytime you're replacing a brake line, if you're not just putting a splice in, which, I don't recommend splices, but if you're actually replacing the brake line, fittings and all that, you should always remove the brake line before you start doing your parts running. Because you always have the chance of the fitting not coming out of whichever end it's connected on, and you might have to replace more things than just said brake line. So when it comes to brakes, well, really anything, honestly, for being truthful, do your disassembly before you start your parts running. You're still gonna make 50 trips to the parts store. It doesn't matter. That's just a given. But so you don't make 51 trips to the parts store, do disassembly. you know, might save you some gas money. It's hard to say. Anyway, get it jacked up, get those tires off there. This is true. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Gotta love these lowered trucks. These jacks just, you know, barely don't fit underneath of them. Oh yeah. And it's not the height of the jack I was talking about. It's my pumping range, which is, you know, not much. Huzzah! Ugh. Okay, you know, little sketch, but you know, sometimes you just gotta look past that. Oofda. Ooh, that sounds good. Huh, might have warped drums. Maybe a bent axle, hard to say. But anyway, the jacks are in place and doing their job. Truck isn't immediately falling over. Oh yeah, it's pretty safe. And why this high, you might ask? Because I'm gonna be working underneath of it, so I need extra room to work. Okay, you say, that makes sense. Why not jack stands under axle, you ask? I have an answer for that too. Here is said problem child brake line. It is leaking right there and runs down this way, right here. That one right there. And with the axle at droop and the jack stands holding the truck up by the frame, it gives us more accessibility to the line. Because the axle wasn't at droop, all this would be up behind said spare tire. And I don't feel like dropping the spare tire, so it makes everything easier this way. All right, now I'm going to attempt to get this brake line off. And if it does not simply come off, I will let y'all know how that operation pans out after we get the tires off. Keep forgetting it. I'm gonna get the tire off first, and then we'll jump back into this brake line. Getting ahead of myself. Aha! Like a glove. Win. Nope. Nope. Well, help me understand. Aha! First try. Man, I am so sad that they quit making this tire. This is like the most iconic winter tread pattern tire ever made. Like, I swear, I feel like they made it for 60 years. Like, every truck had these tires on for snow tires or mud tires when I was growing up. And they quit making them. It's probably the last set of this style tread pattern snow tires I will ever have, unless somebody starts making them again. And that makes me sad, because I absolutely love this style tire. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, they do work. They do good work. Those bad boys dig. This little two-wheel drive Ranger has been on many places it should have never gone. Alrighty, let's just see if it's this one dragging. I'm thinking it's that, no, where is it doing the hit and miss dragging? Oh, well, it's falling off too, so. I can't really tell. I might replace these rear drums anyway, because I did lose a drive shaft, you know, a while back. It's been a good while. But I lost the drive shaft, you know, because it was just turning all the ripples. And when my grandfather went and snatched me up, you know, he didn't bring a trailer. He just brought a truck and a strap, because that's how we do things around here. And, you know, he drugged me home. And of course, you know, he was doing about 50, 60 mile an hour the whole way, which is fine. But, you know, I made a mistake, because, you know, it just lost the drive shaft. So the truck would still run. You know, it wasn't like the truck was not in running status. And I advise against this for anybody. But if you are, you know, flat towing, or well, I guess you'd say strap towing, whatever you want to call it. If you're tugging a truck behind you and, you know, you like ride the brakes and stuff to, you know, keep some tension on the strap and keep, you know, yourself from like smacking the strap and stuff, you know, you ride the brakes just to keep things right and in place, and so you don't rear in the truck in front of you, etc., etc. Well, if you can, like if the vehicle allows it, don't have it running, because this truck does have power brakes. So I had the truck running so I wouldn't have to strain with the brake pedal on the way home. So he towed me all the way home. I mean, this was like a good 10 miles. Towed me all the way home. And here I am, just, you know, all easy, you know, all easy peasy. Just cruising along behind him with my power brakes and my power steering. I mean, it was just a good old flat tow. I mean, I was just cruising, you know what I mean? And literally, as soon as we pull in the driveway and stop, I get out and shut the doors on the truck. And the front brakes are so hot. This is like, I ain't even exaggerating. Can't make this stuff up. I shut the door, and when I shut the door, both front center caps fall off. Oh, dang, what's that? And I, you know, look a little closer, and the smoke is just starting to billow out of the fender wells. Like, I'm thinking the truck is about to catch on fire. And like, because these caps here, they're just plastic. So the lug nuts themselves were, and you know, these pop over the lug nuts. The lug nuts themselves were so hot, they melted the plastic bit that holds the cap onto them. It melted them and they fell off. And like the hub, you know, the center caps were laying there in the driveway smoking. They were so hot. So yes, if you can flat tow or strap tow or however you want to call it, pronounce it, whatever. If you ever are in that situation and the vehicle is still operable, it's still able to run, try not to drive it with it running, because with the assistance of the power brakes, it gives you probably way more braking than what you probably need for just sitting there, just riding with your foot on the brake behind said tow vehicle. And his tow vehicle was a 1-ton dually Duramax. So I could have been standing on the brakes and he wouldn't even have known I was behind him. Like, he would have had absolutely no clue. So to him, it didn't matter. Yeah, anyway. And see, since that said adventure has happened, whenever I managed to find more center caps, I found these older style ones that have these metal inserts in them. So, I mean, I hope to never overheat them like that again. And I did replace the front rotors and bearings and repack the grease and put new pads on the front, because it did warp. It warped them real bad. And, you know, the hubs on the two-wheel drives are built into the brake rotor, so it's all hub bearing assembly all in one. So I did replace all that because it did warp them real bad, and plus the bearings were way overheated. I mean, the grease boiled out of the caps. Like, the factory wheels that were on it at the time just had the grease boiled all over them. It was a sight. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. But yeah, I mean, I since replaced them with these older ones with the metal caps, just so, you know, maybe they'll be a little tougher and I won't have to worry about at least the center caps melting off next time. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is I replaced the front brake components when this happened. I did not replace the rear brake components when this happened. So it is very, very possible that these rear drums are warped beyond belief. So I'm probably just gonna go ahead and replace the shoes and drums back here anyway, you know, just cause we're here. And you know, while I have them apart, I'll inspect the boots on the brake cylinders to make sure that they didn't get overheated and plumb ate up too, which I haven't had any leaks. And that's another thing. The brake fluid was so hot that it boiled the brake fluid out of the reservoir. Now, how it didn't do any damage to the master cylinder or anything, I don't know, because the thing still stops like amazing. Like, you barely touch the brake pedal and this thing will put you through the windshield. Love it. But yeah, the brakes were so hot on this truck, it boiled the brake fluid out of the reservoir. So, you know, that was a pretty nifty achievement all on its own. Well, look at that. Those shoes actually look really good. I might just put drums on this. Ah! Oh, so bright. Oh yeah, all the hardware still looks good. You know, got a little surface rust on that wheel cylinder. I think that's what they're called. I think it's coming back to me. But I mean, no, I mean, the shoe life actually looks pretty good. All right. I might just replace the drums then. Because like I said, especially like when I'm driving down the road, I can like hear them like shh, 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 shh. Like you can hear them. Just like if I'm idling along, you can hear the rear brakes just shh, 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 shh. So I am almost certain that these are probably warped real good. Ooh. So yeah, I might pick up a set of drums while I'm in town, you know, just cause. Let's see, that one's still in there good. Still nice and thick, ain't really losing any of its bonding. Okay, so, you know, all the hardware looks good, so okay, I'm not mad about this one either. So I'll probably just pick up a new set of drums then. And yeah, I know, you can take them and have them turned, but I really do believe that they were excessively warped. And they might not be, but I think that they probably suffered a lot of heat from that, so I'm just gonna put a new set of drums on it. Drums used to not be expensive for this. There's no telling what they are now, but we'll see. Let's get this brake line off. Ooh, scary. So scary. I need to pry up that little tab there a little bit. And just get this thing broke loose. See if it's gonna, you know, be a nightmare or be all right. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It's either a 7/16 or an 11, because those are almost exactly the same. Ooh, 11 fits it real nice. Real nice. It fits so good, I probably shouldn't even test fit 7/16, but you know, curiosity killed the snowman. Wait, no. That's not right. Oh, 7/16, you know. Is that 7/16? 7/16 is loosey-goosey. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 7/16 is indeed bigger than an 11. Who knew? I didn't. Oh, the line's twisting. But the nut's coming out. Oh, the line quit twisting too. I think we might have us a winner big old fat chicken dinner right here. And that makes me happy. Oh yes. It's coming right off. Now I got a little brake fluid on there for lube too. All right, I'll catch back up with y'all once I get to that other one. Alrighty, let's see if we have the same luck with this one. I'm almost willing to say doubtful. Especially because the wrench don't even fit. Well, do we have two different size fittings? Probably. That's how it always is. Nope, it's an 11. It's just got a little more rust on it, I reckon. Eef. Eef. Oh! Oh! Alright, so it is an 11 on this end too, but it's just a different 11.
you know, because of the extra rust. Oh yeah, that line is gonna be broken. Oh yeah, she is broken. All right, well, I'm gonna, at least the fitting come loose, so that's a win. Now, I'm gonna get this one the rest of the way off, and I'll catch back up with you once we get it out of here. What on earth has this idiot come up with? Don't even know. Ah, said the blind man. It's like 35 3/4 inches. So roughly 3 foot of brake line is what is needed for this repair. And why, might you ask, would a fella or a gal go through this much trouble to determine the brake line length? Well, for my peanut-sized brain, this is a simple yet very effective way to know the true length of a brake line that I'll need without unwadding this one. And you know, I don't want to unwad this one because once I get my brake line, this is my perfect template. But yes, my peanut-sized brain just said that this is the easiest way to go about it. You know, you just have to have a little bit of wire you're willing to sacrifice and a little bit of tape and, you know, a few minutes of your time and you're done, you know. And to be honest with you, it's just a few minutes of your time. Like, it's not really that hard. Just tape some wire on there and you're done. And you know, hindsight being what it is, I probably would have used a different color wire than white since I have a white table here that I'm demonstrating on. But you know, white was, I mean, it was right there. You know, it's like, it was on top and it was the easiest one to get to. So white it was. I didn't think about the color of the table. Stupid. But anyway, now I know what I need. I'm gonna go to the parts house. I'm gonna get 2 rear drums and 3 foot of brake line. That's all we'll need. Pick back up with you once I get it. And also, you know, I don't have sticks of brake line laying around, so you know, I've got a or spools, so whenever I need brake line, it's handy to know exactly the length I need. So when I go to the store, you know, it's easier just to pick out, you know, the already pre-made sticks that could possibly fit my needs. So it's more convenient to know the length, the exact length I need when I go to the store. Options. All right, not really all options. These here, the fittings, not exactly the same thread pitch. These shiny copperized ones that are probably way too good quality for Gustavo are the ones that I'm probably gonna have to use because they are actually the right size fittings. So it's between this one or this one. They didn't have any 36-inch sticks, so I had to get a 40 and a 30. Now the 40, I know I can easily make that work. You know, put a few extra bends in it, some squibbledy squabbledies here and there, and that one will do the job, no doubt. That being said, I'm pretty sure I can make the 30 work just fine. It might not, you know, be as intricate as that one. May not resemble that one at all. But I think I can make it work. So stand by and I'll get back with you on that. It almost doesn't reach, but it in fact does reach. Can't put it down on that clamp because I've got her stretched pretty tight over here. But you know, a win's a win. As long as it don't leak, that'll be just fine for Gustavo. My shop truck doesn't get, you know, the fanciness that everybody else gets. It gets hackery and tomfoolery, which is why I'm amazed it even runs. But anyway, let's get some fluid in this thing, get it pumped up, and see what happens. There it is. Bled out, no leaks, professionally restored. Not even a run in the paint. Nope. Not even a run in the paint. And you might be wondering, I don't see anyone else around. How could you have possibly bled it out by yourself? Well, I'm not glad that you asked. But since you did, it was a combination of getting the bleeder screw here, right here, set just right, to where I keep vacuum on it long enough for me to make my way into the truck, pump the pedal a couple times, and I'd come back here, and I'd put the vacuum back to it. I'd go back here, and I'd pump the brakes. I'd come back here, I'd put the vacuum to it. And I'd go bring it up the hood. I'd put more brake fluid in the reservoir. And I'd come back here and vacuum, and pump, and vacuum, and fluid, and vacuum, and pump, and vacuum, and pump, and vacuum, and fluid. And yeah, and after about, 3 aneurysms, I have a really, really solid pedal. And even when you start it, power brakes are on, I mean, the pedal is just solid. So, yeah, we'll take it out for a drive. If it's good enough, it's good enough. And then, like I said, there's no leaks. Had a professional painter come in, touch everything up with the best quality, paint on the market. And, it's just ready. I'm gonna throw the tires back on it, and my test drive will be going to town. I know I said I was gonna put new drums on it, but of course, didn't have none in stock, so I had to order them. And they're supposed to be in town right now, so swing into town, pick those up, come back, we'll put them on, and we can wrap this one up. New drums achieved. All right, first thing, we're gonna spray down a little rag right here, and always try to remember this anytime you get drums or rotors, either which or, whenever you get them new out of the box. The only reason they're not covered in surface rust or anything of that nature is because they have a slight oil film on them when you receive them. So always wipe down at least the braking surface of your drum and or rotor before you put it on, because even that mild oil film can damage your pad material, and you don't want to do that. And plus, it'll hurt it won't allow the brake pads to properly seat into the new surface. So just always try and remember to get that film of oil off, or protective coating, whatever it is that they put on there. Just give it a wipe down, get that off. Alright, now we're gonna check and see if I need to adjust the shoes any, which I would say I would have to, but you just never know. It does very, very slight drag. I think I am going to loosen them some, because it's having a problem of whenever I'm doing aggressive braking, the rear brakes are wanting to slide just a little bit. So I think I am going to bring in the star wheel just a little bit. Just gonna, close in the shoes just a little bit. That way it allows a little more time for the
front brakes to do some stopping before the back ones, you know, really start blowing us up. Let's see, which way do I need to turn this thing to close it in? Let's see, because this drives it up to expand it, so that way should be. Oh yeah, there we go. Give it about 2 turns. 2 turns ought to be enough. Yeah, ain't really touching it now, so call it good. We'll do the same thing to the other side. We'll get the tires back on it, and this project here is done. And remember, and while you have your lug nuts off, if you notice that your studs are a little rusty, a little corroded, or you know the lug nuts were a little stiff coming off and on, you know, take a few minutes at each time just to clean up your lug nuts, well, your lug nuts and your studs, and you'll put a little lube on, you know, a little dab of some high temperature grease or some anti-seize, you know, something. Just put a little bit on there, you know, give them the slickums. That way, you know, they just, you know, they're smooth as butter. And that way they don't gall up on you and stuff like that. I mean, that will save you some headache in the future. I mean, you know, fighting with a lug nut that is galled up on a stud is never a good time, especially if it's galled up enough that you rip the serrations off that hold this into the hub, and then you got your whole stud spinning, and you know the lug nut's not coming off because the entire stud is spinning. And then yeah, that always turns into an adventure getting it off once you've made it to that point. Usually you end up wrecking a wheel when this happens. I mean, even if it's only one hole in the wheel, you end up wrecking the wheel or doing pretty good damage to the hub once that fight begins. So always try to, you know, lube your lug nuts and your studs. That way you have problem-free service for, you know, at least the lifetime that you own the vehicle. You know, if you plan on keeping it till, you know, it just ain't no more, or if you're just doing maintenance on it while you have it, you know, either you'll be thanking yourself later on down the road, or the next guy will be thanking you. Either way, just try to remember that useful little tip. There it is. Another one done and ready to go out the door. That's a wrap on another day. I'd like to thank y'all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if there's anything informational in it, I hope it helped you out with whatever you're working on or whatever you're thinking about working on. Maybe it's inspired you to go out there and wrench on your project that's been sitting around. I just hope you've had a good time. I've enjoyed having you. Leave a comment down below. Leave a like, dislike. It's all fine with me. Thank y'all for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.